I see. So you jumped up to the high place there. All right. Well, then you stay up there for the lookout. All right, it is a Saturday, December 20th, 2025. And welcome to the Please Subscribe Show. I'm Cole Spivey. There's Critter. He hangs on the rearview mirror. He's an air freshener. And he likes to live, laugh, and smell good. I think the other day I called him a rearview mirror, but I meant to call him an air freshener. Right, Critter? All right, he's a little quiet. Temperature. So today is a little different on the two. We've got, oh, it went down. 82 degrees on the temperature there. And this is on an app called Weatherbug. And it's a high of 83, a low of 47. It feels like 81. This one's stating it's 74. My car says it's 76. So maybe it's right. I don't know. I don't know where Weatherbug gets their information, but this is probably closer to what it is right now. 74, a high of 82, and a low of 51 on Weatherbug, I'm sorry, that's Weatherbug. That's Weatherbug, and that's Apple weather. I think if you look at them like this, right here, they look like that. Apple and Weatherbug. All right, I look at both of them. I'm just that way. I'm kind of inattentive. There is the butterfly. Go ahead and subscribe here. Hit the button. And if you'd like to support the channel, feel free. It's always better to give than to receive. And, you know, maybe you could probably write it off on your taxes or something. Okay? I'll put my PayPal right there. And hit the notifying bell so you know when the next video uploads. What's new? There's a lot of media stuff. You know, I do watch the news every night. I kind of regret it. I get Channel 8 on YouTube. But I found out some good news, though. Hang on, look at this. There's the Grinch. The Grinch would never give you good news, but I'm not the Grinch. But I've stood next to him when I was in the Majestic. I was a background actor in Hollywood a long time ago. Frank Darabont directed a movie called The Majestic, and I was in a little tiny bit of it. I got to stand next to the Grinch, known as, well, Jim Carrey. He's very quiet. He's very serious. He's a hard-working actor. He takes it serious. At least then he did. He really never cut up that much. He did make people laugh on set, but only at appropriate times. He's a great guy. Anyway, let's move forward. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I saw Kirk Cameron's thing today, and you know, it just talks about the media. I think he's on like episode 94. I'm not really going to advertise it because of all the stuff that's going on in news today, but he does have some good biblical things to say about life, and I'm kind of watching his channel randomly. I think it's, I don't know if it, I'm trying to just see the episode. Getting some information here on. That's my new phone. I gotta go through the advertisement before. We usually have a technical difficulties almost every time we start. I think it's 91. Okay, I just wanted to get the number right. Yeah, so he's talking about a lot of the media stuff and trying to bring biblical messages towards it, which is hard to do. Him and his son, or he and his son. I did get to work on my novel. I'm still working on chapter 88. I did add quite a bit, some backstory on Jed Wilson, if you're following. I do get hits on fictionpress.com, and occasionally I'll advertise Audible stuff that comes up, like Christmas time stories, just different authors. You know, there was a couple of them, AJ Pine and Liz Maverick, who came across. They have one, I think Liz Maverick did one called Cozy for the holiday, or Cozy for Christmas or something like that, or Cozy for the Holidays or something like that. And then the other one was about 10 Things I Hate About Christmas. I didn't really get to listen to a whole lot other than the sample. And other stuff, and then of course Christmas Carol. I went through several different Christmas carols, listening to Christmas carols. Charles Dickens, he's always great. I think also I started listening to Oliver Twist. It's too long right now to bring on this show. It's like the Lord of the Rings. I couldn't get through all of that. But I did listen to some of it because Charles Dickens is a master, and it does help me. All right, it's time of the show. You get to watch me pick up food at restaurants and drop it off at your doorstep. Here we go. All right, so going back to WeatherBug, one thing I like about WeatherBug, I used it when I lived in Maine, is you can do hourly. So right now it's saying 80 degrees. It does feel like 80 degrees. And then we just kind of scroll down to about 11. It's about 60. I think you can do the same with Apple Weather, but they have it laid out pretty cool. It kind of looks like that. I just find WeatherBug a little easier to look at, and I used it when I was in Maine. But that's what it looks like if you're trying to do the hourly, I guess. I don't know. There's shows it kind of like that. They might want to take some notes from WeatherBug. Let me see something. Yeah, that's what's Saturday. I don't know if it does hourly. It probably does. I'll have to look at it a little longer. Maybe right here. Maybe today, I don't know. Anyway, I mean, the WeatherBug thing, you just go like this, and then it's already hourly like that, and it shows hourly at the top. And if you want to do a quick 10-day, you just do a 10-day, and you can look at it that way. But that's what we're dealing with today on Saturday. And you can see the changing of the leaves, the colors. Really nice. The maroon color on the leaves and stuff right here by the Modern Art Museum in Fort Worth. Critter's pretty excited about it, right, Critter? He just doesn't talk a whole lot. He just observes. Casa Manana is doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer until, I believe, December 23rd. They're going to pick up at Wizard of Oz on January 23rd, and it'll go through February 15th. Casa Manana. All right, don't forget your tickets at Christmas in the Garden, Fort Worth Botanic. And that's what's going on right now till, I think, early November. Looks like, nope, it's going, I'm sorry, till January 4th. Sorry about that. I meant to say January. And it's not, no one's lined up with it right now. It's Saturday, but it'll line up. There it is. There's this thing right there, Christmas in the Garden. So January 4th. All right. All right, got one at Chipotle and Hyson's Pizza. 5:29 arrival for Chipotle. 5 minutes, 1.5 miles for the delivery. All right, next stop is Hyson's. Needs a Pizza. 5:35 arrival. 1 minute, 0.2 for the pickup. Next one will be Chipotle. 5:44 arrival. 5 minutes, 2.1 miles for delivery. All right. Hands it to me due to the reason that there's a dog. That's always wonderful to know. All right, when you come to Fort Worth, don't forget to stop off at Rockwood's Go-Karts and Mini Golf. Killing it. Yeah. That place gets hot in the summertime now. I always suggest bring a wet towel or something that can cool you off from 100 degrees, like water. Yeah, plenty of liquid of some sort, even if you have to bring like something like Gatorade. But I think Linda and I did a vlog there one time. We were only there for like 15 minutes in the summertime. It was a hot summer, and we had to get some water and something to cool ourselves off so we could make it out there alive. I need more shade there, though, I would say. A little more shading. Go-kart stuff is a little bit better because you're riding around in the wind, you know. It's a cool place, though. It's been there for a long time. All right, Hyson's needs a pizza on the way. 5:54 arrival, 6 minutes, 2.1 miles for the delivery. All right. Turn me back into the bed I was when we met. I was happier then with no mindset. And if you took to me like a cold takes to the wind, but I've jumped from my trees, I've danced like the king of the Isles, and the rest of our lives would farewell. Do the slang when you notice the stripes, the dirt in your fries. New slang when you notice the stripes, the dirt in your fries. Hope it's right when you die old and bony. Dawn breaks like a bull through the hall. Never should have called. My head's to the wall and I'm lonely. And if you talk to me like a gold takes to the wind, well, I've jumped from my trees and I've danced like the king of the Isles. The rest of our lives would fare well. Okay, supposedly they got AI dolls now that are going under the Christmas tree. They supposedly have long conversations with your toddlers and teach them how to light matches, sharpen knives, and trust the Chinese. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard it on the internet. I'm not going to say who I heard it from.
National mobile networks across all available network types. Your experience.
All right, I got one at Pi 5, 6:30 arrival, 7 minutes, 2.3 miles for the pickup. Time arrival 6:29, 1 minute, 450 feet. For some reason, GPS went in wrong. This is in Montgomery. so Linda worked here. The reason why they call it Pi 5 is because they can make a pizza within 5 minutes. I always wondered, I was like, why do they call it Pi 5? 5 minutes, I can make it in 5 minutes. There's a guy who wants to start a mobile pizza place that's right off of there. It's pretty much at Papa John's. I told him to check this place out. Here's your menu. Got Mike Sticky Fingers, 5-star barbecue chicken, chicken carbona, High Five meat, Athenian, old world image, and not your father's veggie. There's a 7-inch pizza half salad. All right, Pi 5 on the way, 6:50, 17 minutes, 7.8 miles for delivery. Woodstock or something.
There are police reported ahead.
Yeah, they're everywhere, man. Yeah, this is the Christmas stuff. This is going to be Christmas in the garden, the Botanic Garden. There are active police guarding the area, both the entrance and the exits. Yeah, it has it right here. This is the new entrance for the Botanic Garden. When I was a kid in the 90s, it was down here. It's where the original gates were, I'll show you. And there was no, they never charged, you know, you never paid a fee to get in. It was just, you just walk right in. I think it was that way up to my second marriage, 2013. I don't remember if you could drive in this way. I think you had to drive in the other way, but this was the old entrance. You just drive right in. Now you can't. Now they want money to go in, all this stuff. We used to play Dungeons and Dragons in there. And, actually, my second wife and I, we went there on a date and took some photos. I almost got stung by a bee, but I didn't. It came close, and then it flew away because my second wife could control it with her mind. I'm just joking. I'm joking. I did put a witch hat on her when I went to Salem on her honeymoon. I took her to Salem. But we did the 13 colonies honeymoon. Starting in Boston, and then we went to Salem, and then through the tip of New York, upstate New York. We didn't stop in the city. I wish we would have, but we didn't. We did stop at Harvard, coffee shops in Harvard. It was a lot of fun. And then we ended up in Maine in a cabin, and then we went to Canada for a little while. It was Eastern Canada, St. Andrews. St. Edwards. St. Andrews. And they had crafted beer there. That was pretty good. I tried a little sample of crafted beer in St. Andrews. It's actually pretty dang good. Canadian crafted beer. And then we went to back to Maine, I guess, and had to stop at the ER because too much traveling. She had to stop at the ER for a second. Something that she would do quite often. Soon after that, we would be having our first kid about a week after the honeymoon. So it was right after the wedding, then the honeymoon. About a week later, kids on the way. And I was like, okay. I think about 5 years later, March 9th, 2019, she left with the kids and everything. All 3 kids just vanished. She didn't vanish, but she left. And then I met Linda. Let's see. 2019, January, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Let's see, hang on. January, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. I guess it was 13 months later. Let's see. February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Moved into mansions around that time. October, so then November, December, January, February, March, and April. So less than a year later. Yeah, January, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Yeah, I guess 13 months later. And then started the Please Subscribe show a few months after that. Maybe on the side. Mellow Mushroom on our way. 7:14 arrival, 6 minutes, 2.3 miles for the pickup. DCU, established 1873, 152 years ago. Protestant, non-denominational, and connected to the Disciples of Christ. Metal mushroom established back in 1972. It says so right here on this guy's shoulder. Oh, 74. 1974. And looks like it'll be closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. All right, Mellow Mushroom on the way. 7:46 arrival, 24 minutes, 15 miles for the delivery going out to Aledo. So they offered a new widget. It's got the temperature, precipitation, the wind. That's neat. Isn't that neat? So I chose this one for right now.
Seems.
And it's the preview for The Housemaid. And it's Frida McFadden. And guess what? They turned it into a movie. They turned it into a movie directed by Paul Feig? Might be pronounced Fig. It's either going to be, I think it's probably going to be Feig or Feig. Feig, maybe. I'm trying to think, because I'm usually always corrected on the names when I have to get it down. In German, that would be Feig. So, if it's German, it'd be Paul Feig. Because the EI is the I. Pretty sure that's correct. DEI is D, and so Feig. Psychological thriller directed by Paul Feig, based on a Frida McFadden novel, The Housemaid. It's about a housemaid for a affluent couple who uncovers a dark secrets with a release date December 19th, 2025. It's described as a twisty, post-feminist pulp with intense violence, steamy scenes, and shocking plot points, or plot turns. Received mixed but general positive early reviews for its entertainment value and performance, particularly Siegfried's. It's pronounced Siegfried's. Paul Feig. I'm just going with Paul Feig for right now. Sydney Sweeney. It's the novel is Frida McFadden, which I'm listening to. Not a lot of music at the beginning part of it, so you can kind of listen to it a little bit.
I wonder if he's thinking about his sofa at home and wishing he had one like this. Or, more likely, he's thinking about the dead body in the attic upstairs. So
very different from yesterday, where it was more uplifting, Christmassy. This is stuff they're releasing around Christmas time, so people will dig into it.
out of my head. Police officer.
The AJ Pine and the Liz Maverick. So the Liz Maverick ones were kind of upbeat and Christmassy. This one's a little dark.
Time to demand a lawyer. Aren't they supposed to offer?
So far, demand a lawyer and police cuffs or police with the cuffs and all this stuff. So it sounds like it's probably going to be a pretty tense thriller.
There in the first place. I pressed my lips together. I told you. I heard a sound. And threaded with gray.
So according to this, it looks like it's maybe Paul Feig. Or Paul Fig. Probably Paul Fig. He's a 1962 American filmmaker, actor. He is best known for directing Bridesmaids, The Heat, Spy, and Ghostbusters, Answer the Call, and Last Christmas. So that's what he's doing, this thriller novel right now, The Housemaid. It'll be released in a few days. No, I think it's already released. It released yesterday. Alright, that's what it looks like on Wiki. kind of a Jennifer Lawrence type, younger Jennifer Lawrence looking chick. Directed by Paul Feig. Rebecca Sonnenschein wrote the screenplay. It's based on what I was listening to, The Housemaid, by Frida McFadden. Produced by Todd Lieberman, Laura Fisher, and Paul Feig. Starring Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried, Brandon Sklenar, Michael Maroon, or maybe that's Maroon, and Elizabeth Perkins. John Schwartzman is a cinematographer. We used to sing in high school, I am cinematographer. I can do anything. Music by Theodore Shapiro. It's Hidden Pictures, Pretty Dangerous Pictures, Lionsgate distributed. There was a release on December 2nd at the AXA Credible Center. And then December 19th was the release date, was yesterday. 131 minutes, United States. Okay, so they spent $35 million. As the box office opened, they made $8 million. So they made a little bit of it back. It's got to go through streaming and all that kind of stuff, which it's probably going to pretty quick. And there it is. You write a book, and the next thing you know, that happens. Good job, Paul Feig, and good job to Rebecca Sonnenschein for adapting the screenplay of Frida McFadden. It looks really interesting. I listened to it. I was like, hey, it has a kind of a hook. It gets you, involved, kind of like the Hunger Games did, and things like that. If you ever read the opening of the Hunger Games, the book, it really sucks you in. This one does too. It's called The Housemaid. 2025 film. It's already there. A 2022 novel. It took her 3 years to get it to the screen. So they consider it a psychological thriller.
The Housemaid. Written by Frida McFadden. Narrated by Lauren Allman.
All right.
How
so
else are you
Lauren
possibly
Allman
supposed to
is
remember
the
their names
narrator.
in a high-stress situation?
It's right there on Internet Movie
He's a
Database.
detective, I think. I pressed my lips together. I told you, I heard a sound.
This is Fair Creek. Yeah, I think we did a delivery here just the other day. Yeah, there's the blue thing. I don't know if I vlogged it last time. It's like this house with this like distinct blue. Kind of has like the icy feel. Yeah, I believe this neighborhood is called Lost Creek. It's like a movie title or something. Maybe there was a Lost Creek around here that nobody knew about. If it was Lost Creek, then how'd they find it? Guess they found it and then they named it. Now it's a beautiful neighborhood with beautiful Christmas lights. So it's not a Lost Creek anymore, it's a Found Creek. Lost Creek. I like this little bubble. Cool. Those are really cool looking. There's a little projector right there. That's cool. There's a little Christmas tree right there, a little nativity scene. Look up to another nativity scene coming up here. Little baby Jesus in the manger. Dun, 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 dun. This one's very fanciful Christmas lights. Little snowman. Little red truck with a bear. And there's Santa Claus. And Santa Claus, his brother, falling off the side of the roof. Two Santa Clauses. Maybe time warped into a different area of the house or something. Probably. Two Santas in the same existence. This one's a little mechanical setup. A little bear goes into the stocking. Joy to the world. And then there's some unicorns. There's a little snowman. Yeah, some reindeer. Dun 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 dun. Well, if you can't get out to go Christmas light viewing, or if you can't go out to see the Christmas lights, you can always watch my show. I'll try to show some of them, especially if they're marvelous Christmas lights. Spectacular Christmas lights. Some people like it, yeah. There's some Christmas lights down that way. This one's kind of interesting. It's like a wolf or something. Two wolves howling, "Merry Christmas." There's some stuff down that way. Let's see what we can do here.
Her cream blouse makes me long to reach out to feel the material, even though a move like that would mean I'd have no chance of getting hired.
Very heartened, sir. So this might just be the birth for me.
All right, got one at HG Supplies, 8:14 arrival, 2 minutes, 0.6 for the pickup. All right, bison chili bowl, no cheese, jalapenos, fresh sourdough, smoked chicken, crispy Brussels sprouts. Live a life well lived. All right, let's see which one. Elliot Porter, I did that one. Claire Cipral did that one. Purple Jones, I did that one. Paul Greenberg, I did that one. Adolph Meyer, I did that one. Auburn Bodine. Let's see. Cambridge Skipjacks, 1946. It's part of the Amon Carter collection, which they have over 45,000 expedition quality prints made by over 450 photographers. Alright. HG Supplies is right here. Yeah, Merry Christmas. It's going a little over 12 miles. All right, HG Supplies on our way. 8:42 arrival, 17 minutes, 13 miles for the delivery. Going to Forest Hills. I think it's the name of a werewolf movie that Shelley Duvall was in.
Is a mode of autobiography. Those who find ugly meanings in beautiful things are corrupt without being charming. This is a fault. Those who find beautiful meanings in beautiful things are the cultivated. For these there is hope. They are the elect to whom beautiful things mean only beauty. There is no such thing as a moral or an immoral book. Books are well written or badly written. That is all. The 19th century dislike of realism is the rage of Caliban seeing his own face in a glass, of Caliban not seeing his own face in a glass. The moral life of man forms part of the subject matter of the artist, but the morality of art consists in the perfect use of an imperfect medium. No artist desires to prove anything. Even things that are true can be proved. No artist has ethical sympathies. An ethical shows that the work is new, complex, and vital. When critics disagree, the artist is in accord with himself. We can forgive a man for making a useful thing as long as he does not admire it. The only excuse for making a useless thing is that one admires it intensely. All art is quite useless. Oscar Wilde. Chapter 1. The studio was filled with the rich odour of roses, and when the light summer wind stirred amidst the trees of the garden, there came through the open door the heavy scent of the lilac.
Chapter 1. Sir Walter Elliot of Kellynch Hall in Somersetshire was a man who, for his own amusement, never took up any book but the attachment.
So you can
Since
clearly
to them,
tell
he must have owed a wife
Jane
a very
Austen
superior character
was
to
obsessed
anything deserved.
with class systems, like where you stood in society. Although her father was a minister, I know a little bit about her. I've got one of her books that my second wife left in the bookshelf. I don't know if it's Persuasion or not. I think I've vlogged it before. But she showed me Pride and Prejudice. But that's what she wrote about. She wrote about pride and prejudice and class systems and how they existed. And she's obsessed with dates. And
By his own.
I think the first part of this right here, she goes over a lot of different...
Then followed the history and rise of the ancient and respectable family, in the usual terms. How it had been first settled in Cheshire, how mentioned in Dugdale, serving the office of High Sheriff, representing a borough in 3 successive parliaments, exertions of loyalty and dignity of baronet in the first year of Charles II, with all the Marys and Elizabeths they had married, forming altogether 2 handsome duodecimo pages, and concluding with the arms and motto, Principal Seat, Kellynch Hall in the county of Somerset.
Be on Santa's nice list, drive friendly. Even Santa wears a seatbelt, so buckle up.
Rees and Aylmer Moore.
Dear friend, tell me how you are. Set your friend's mind at rest, said he without altering his...
One of those little bear in the season greeting stocking. It's just to kind of duck in there. So, oh, okay, that's nice. Oh yeah, yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, a little Santa Claus climbing up the side of the house right there. All right, got one at Pizza Hut, 8:53, 5 minutes, 1.7 for the pickup. Santa comes in 5 days. All right, this yard, they went to and fro the Christmas warehouse probably. And it is a Minion Christmas for real. A truck, I pay them $50 to get in that shot right there. You can kind of hear the Christmas stuff there. It's stuck on Christmas. Oh yeah, this is cool. This one's getting a lot of action. It's got a Santa and an outhouse right there. And then that's like a Long John Silver's Santa. Pretty cool. Pizza Hut on the way, 9:05 arrival, 4 minutes, 1.4 for the delivery. Yeah, Force Phil's making a go of it. Got some candy canes, with some reindeer, or maybe the regular deer, I don't know. Yeah, they may have won for Grady Street, right here. Merry Christmas. and a happy new year. So far, they're gonna get it maybe for the neighborhood and for Grady Street. Cool. Lisa's Chicken on her way, 9:16 arrival, 4 minutes, 1.4 mile for the pickup. Lisa's Chicken. Lisa's Chicken and Seafood on its way, 9:27 arrival, 6 minutes, 2 miles for delivery. These are pretty nice right over here. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Oh, I like that palm tree right there. Might give it to them on this road, which is Osbury Avenue. Nice big Christmas light bulbs.
Anna Pavlovna Scherer, on the contrary, despite her 40 years, overflowed with animation and impulsiveness. To be an enthusiast had become her social vocation, and
St. Paul Lutheran's Church. Unto us a child is born, Isaiah 9:6. I looked it up today. All right, headed to Potbelly Sandwiches, 9:50 arrival, 5 minutes, 1.7 mile for the pickup. Trip photography. Potbelly's on the way, 10:07 arrival, 12 minutes, 6.6 miles for the delivery. Going down Bel Air. They're probably going to have some really nice lights over in this area off Bel Air Drive, or Bel Air Drive. Pizza Hut on the way with the wings. 10:52 arrival. 11 minutes, 4.9 miles for the delivery.
I draw a deep breath as every emotion.
All right, so it does. So far, I've gone 103 miles, 59 degrees Fahrenheit. So I did get under 60. That's Burnett Plaza. It's 567 feet tall, 173 meters. It's the tallest building in Fort Worth. Looks like this is like a I don't know what that is. Memorial for firemen. I don't know if it's 9/11 or not. September 11th Memorial. I don't think it is. I don't know for sure. Plaza. And I call that guy Tom Burnett. I created a character in a Thieves story called Tom Burnett. Club has Santa looking out right there. Going to the Hilton on Main Street. I believe it's the one JFK stayed at. These horses are really cool. Oh, there he is. Right there. And that's him at that hotel the day before he lost his life in Dallas. So, came here to give a speech, a spontaneous speech. I don't know why, it wasn't planned. The next day, that was it for JFK. But I'm glad they have a memorial in Washington for him. And so this was the hotel that John F. Kennedy stayed at. And he gave a famous speech right out, about not even a block away from the hotel, pretty much right next to the hotel. That's him coming out. That's Jacqueline. And he was alive and well. But they said he was acting kind of weird. So you can probably see in the photo, there's some Secret Service or something. They were kind of looking out after him because he suddenly decided to give a speech. And they were like, huh, that's crazy. I guess he got inspired and it made him kind of nervous. But he was okay in Fort Worth. The next day, Dallas, around lunchtime, a man would set up on the 6th floor of the book depository building with a Coca-Cola and a sandwich, an Italian-style sniper rifle. Bolt action. The first shot would get him. First shot got him, I believe, in the neck. The second shot would miss him and bounce. It skipped right off the road of elm. The third one caught him right in the back of the head. And there's some, I think up here, if you go up here, there's some JFK expedition stuff. We might go right behind though. I gotta get going though. See if I can get out of here. There we go. But he's set up like right over here. Assuming, according to the photograph, he might have been coming out right there. But they have this new awning over here, which is not in the photograph. So I'm thinking this might have been the entry point of where, or the exit point of where the photo was taken. What people don't know is Lee Harvey Oswald actually lived in Fort Worth before going to Dallas and getting employed for the book depository. It says there are no faint hearts in Fort Worth, JFK, November 26, 1963. It does allow me to turn left, that we can get a shot of the statue right here. That's kind of a profile of him. I've done some vlogs of it before. All right, well, thanks so much for watching. I'm Cole. I know I don't do a lot of selfies, but yeah, it's really cool. You go to the Hilton on Main, and there's a lot of photos of John F. Kennedy in there, and then there's a statue outside. It has a little plaque, and I do think it has excerpts from his speech. I might have his whole speech. I think that speech was probably pre-written. He might have wrote it the night before when he was at the Hilton, but it wasn't a planned meeting. Like, it wasn't scheduled for JFK to make a speech right there at the Hilton or in front of the Hilton. He just simply did it, and there were so many people around to see him come out of the hotel, that a crowd gathered and listened to his speech. And then the next day he would go to Dallas, where he chose to ride in the caravan, the cavalcade of vehicles, which were partially bulletproof, but he chose to not have the bubble on top of it. They were going to give him the option to do that, so he trusted Dallas. And the sniper, which they say is Lee Harvey Oswald, was able to get the shot. Now there's a lone rogue theory, of that Lee Harvey Oswald did it, and of course there is a conspiracy theory behind it, and a lot of people do believe in the conspiracy theories, and there's all different types of conspiracy theories. I don't know, everything from the mafia to Japan to Russia to Cuba. And believe it or not, Oswald was connected in one way or another to all of that. after all, he was killed by Ruby, Jack Ruby, and that was very clear and evident. So, but Oswald stated he was a patsy. It's a very weird moment in American history. Not as clear as the Abraham Lincoln assassination, which was done by John Wilkes Booth. But I don't know if there's scientific proof showing that Oswald did it. I don't know if they really would have that, and even if they did, it could be shaky at the most. But it's your decision on who actually did it. I mean, no one really knows. I don't know in history class if they teach the conspiracy theory. They might one day, but they probably teach the lone gunman theory, which would be Lee Harvey Oswald. And the purple light remains even in Christmas. Purple light.
It was Christmas Eve night at the poorhouse, and all of the paupers were there. I stepped in because it was snowing, and snow always screws up my hair. And whisper.
Here we go with today's kitty. One kitty. 9 lives, and each cat life has a number. Numbers 1 through 9. And swirl the cat food. And pick a cat food. Today's kitty will be having fancy feast. Ocean whitefish, tuna feast, and gravy grilled. Hi, kitty. And I'm going to make some sloppy Joe mix, probably with some spinach and put some bread on it. Use your imagination. And make some toast. Best way to do it in these is just air fry, no more than a minute. Go with the pepper jack. Pepper jack, some meat, adding lettuce, and a little bit of this horse sauce right here. Actually, you know what? I'd mix that. Yeah, that's fine. Just gonna mix that with some mustard sauce. I'll put that in there, just like that. And we got ourselves sloppy Joe. All we need now is onions. Onions. All right, adding onions. No ice water now. All right. Got some tea. Sloppy Joe with basically with spinach, pepper jack, onion. Give it a try. Let's see. Well, looks like the news is on. There's Van Life with Trent's friend, Jay. Some stuff. I don't know. Probably watch the news. Further on. Pick up some mushrooms.